YouTube, what's going on? We have another MX Bikes video for you guys today. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the factory 250/450 that just dropped on the mod site. It was posted by Jay Meertz. I hope I pronounced that right. I probably didn't. I'm very sorry about that. And his boy D Mills. In this video today, what we're going to do is we're going to actually discuss the factory bike, OEMs, dynos, a little bit of sim. So I hope you guys enjoy it. We got our boys Pipple and Davey in here with us. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and let's get right into it. So my whole thing was I wanted to do a lobby of the bike. We have a whole lobby in here of just the brand new factory bikes. Oh crap, the gate dropped. We're already on to a bad start. Well, someone didn't even go next to me back there, but what I really wanted to do was just kind of talk about the bikes. I have my boys Davey and Pitbull in here from X Crew. They've been riding a little bit on the bikes. My whole thing on riding the bike for about, I would say about 30 minutes now, the power differential is insane. Insane. I jumped on the regular Honda for like a few laps, and there's some of the jumps on Hangtown right here that I couldn't even clear. I don't know what it was, but then I jumped on this bike and I was clearing it perfectly fine. Maybe I'm just bad at the game, which that is basically true, but there's some of the sections I think this bike just handles it way better, and I think the power is just extremely good. I don't know about you, Davey or Pitbull, like I don't know what you guys think about it, but compared to the Honda, because you guys been on the Honda for a while before the season started, what do you think, like, what do you think about these bikes compared to that bike?
I really don't notice very much suspension changing. Like, I definitely feel like the bike is heavier for some reason. I don't know if that's just the way the suspension setup is, but the bike feels heavier than the regular OEM.
Okay.
But it feels like it's more planted than the regular OEMs, and it just handles a lot better, and there's a big horsepower difference in my opinion.
That's actually what I said to Davey too. The first thing I said to Davey was, I don't feel a suspension difference. That's what I said. I was like, I don't really feel too much on that side of the bike. I feel like it is a little bit more plush and a little bit more grounded, like you saying, heavier. But other than that, I don't really feel too much of a difference compared to each bike. And I did say that when I was telling him, I was like, I did have a whole setup on the Honda that I rocked with when I was on the 250 for a while for outdoors. So that could have been a factor compared to like this bike, you know. I was riding it stock at the time. We just do the same exact thing we did?
Yes, we did.
But yeah, I didn't really feel too much difference on the suspension. David, did you? You said you did though, right?
It could just be a skill issue, I'm not gonna lie, but I do feel like you can go a lot faster over these and not even notice them. And another thing on the planted part, I don't know if it's just because they're so much faster, but you can take way more lines and keep up with the fast lines, like on the regular OEM bikes. I feel like I can take separate lines, and we're all complaining about in races we have only one line tracks and stuff. So
no, I totally agree with that. I mean, for example, as you fall down the hill down there, but as
I can't talk.
You can't talk and ride, bro. Welcome to my life.
I crashed
dude.
again.
But I saw that personally when I did the old bike, and then I did and went over like the first tabletop. I crashed, rip. Look at me, dude. I'm talking and crashing at the same time. But I noticed the difference when I was trying to do the other bike. I was trying to go to a different line, and I was going to hit that main tabletop in the very beginning of the track after like the start or whatever, and I came up super short. I was like, what the hell? And then I hopped on this bike and I did the same exact line and cleared it perfectly. I was like, that just shows you how much power this bike has per se.
But there's a big power difference, and not only acceleration but top speed and torque just in the 250s alone.
I also feel if you had all the other 250s this planted to the ground, you could carry more speed with the same amount of horsepower as what those bikes have.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But like, I wouldn't say these are better in a way, because I feel like if we race these, it would just I don't know.
Well, so I think the horsepower is good for the 250s, honestly, especially with like the bigger jumps and stuff. I think that helps. I think what it does is it helps find a flow easier instead of like going balls to the wall, like wide open everywhere. You can kind of treat it more like a 450 where you don't necessarily need to go wide open. You can just hit everything and be smooth and be like really, really good, which I think is a beneficial to the Honda, but at the same time, not the Honda, but the factory bike, you could say, but at the same time, it does feel a little overpowered than it should. Someone, I don't remember who off the top of my head, but someone compared it to like a 350.
Yeah,
I feel like
I could see that.
I feel like it's pretty close to a 350 compared to a 250. I mean, it's definitely faster than the 250, obviously, but I don't know if it's faster than the 350 in general. But that's just how I think. I think it's really, really good, and I think you don't have to go wide open everywhere. But at the same time, people are going to go wide open. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just going to take everything. Yeah. One thing I noticed, so, like, for these... I was saying this a little bit earlier in the practice that we were doing, was I feel like there's more traction. But then, again, I don't know if that's the case, if it's just me not riding 250s. Because I know the 450s, like, I felt like I was just, like... especially down, like, this downhill. I feel like my bike was just over-revving everywhere. Over-revving everywhere, instead of actually getting planted to the ground and actually putting the power down. But on this bike, I feel like everywhere I go, even with like even the braking bumps, I'm like full speed and it's still picking up traction.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't think, because I read the I normally don't read things, but whenever I downloaded the bikes, I read the description that he wrote.
Yeah.
And he said that there was no changes to tire models or anything with the tires. So I think it's just suspension. I think this could be attainable on the regular OEMs. It's just taking the time to find the right suspension setup to get it to feel like this.
Yeah. No, that makes sense too. I mean, because if it's not a different tire model, then it's like, okay, what is different compared to this bike to that bike, and how we can adapt the bikes in like the series to make it more traction, right? Gain more traction. I know I haven't tested the 450 on this, but the 250, I just know that it just feels like I'm gaining traction everywhere, regardless of where I'm going, even over braking bumps and everything. Okay, so I got a little inside source, and so what they really want to do is make all the bikes competitive, and they really want to treat it like a sim model where all the bikes are basically the same, roughly, and then that way people can change to a different manufacturer. Say like this dyno that it's on the Honda right now would be on the YZ, right? And then so you can ride either a YZ or a Honda. But I don't know. I don't know if that's... I think that's a good thing. I think it would be cool for the scene. I don't know how other people think about it like that. Davey or Pitbull, what do you guys think? Do you guys think it would be beneficial?
I definitely think it would be beneficial. My worry would be is there's gonna be, say, in the 250 class. I'm assuming they do the same thing for the 450 class. But in the 250 class, if you take the top guys in the 250 class right now and then throw everybody on the exact same bike, there's really not a skill difference. Now, I do know a lot of people are riding the Hondas right now still, and there's a lot of people switching over to the Yamahas, myself included. But those top guys are all on the Honda, and yes, they are all on the Honda, but in my opinion, there's setups that are different.
Yeah.
Which, what's the word? That go more with the way that they ride. My worry would be is if you make everything the same dyno, that everything is going to be the exact same, and you can just put a setup, say you find a setup that you really like, you can just use that setup on any of the other bikes because it's the exact same dyno.
Going back to what you were saying about the suspension, everybody could just put on one suspension, it would be like super, super good.
Yeah.
I think for that, I think a lot of people have different riding styles for like MX
Yeah.
bikes included. Like even my riding style is going to be different than Skill's riding style. And I don't think even if we switch to same models that it would be the same, honestly, because
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So I think even with the same models and same dynos and stuff like that, people are not going to be riding the same because everybody's going to have a different style. And I don't know if I don't think a lot of people will like switch to skills. Like a lot of people are going to find how they want to play and just play like that.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know if that will be a big factor like in the races and stuff like that, but it's definitely something to think about, like especially for like a series, right? Because I know that the OEM team don't want to do it, right? They don't want to switch it up. They want to have everything kind of more like a realistic side, right? Where every bike is not like OP or not the same per se, but
Yeah.
and then these guys, which I don't mind, would be like the same bike and everybody's on the same competitive edge. And I just think it's whoever's better at the game, right? Whoever puts the time in the game is going to be better. It's like similar to like any other game, honestly. Like you can have this for Call of Duty, right? You're going to have the same weapon as someone else, but you're not going to be Nick Merckx or Symphony, right? So like, I think it just comes down to how much time you play and stuff like that. And it would be beneficial to see. I would say let's see how a series goes with it before we say we judge anything on it, because I don't really know how other people would like it. I know I think I would enjoy it more, but at the same time, maybe we get a series on the same bikes and everybody hates it, you know? You never know.
And I'd be very curious to see where same dynos would bring bikes, because I think people are just getting tired of seeing the same model, but I don't think they're taking into consideration the racing standpoint if everybody is on the exact same bike, you know? Like, I feel like racing would be different, because I mean, like you said, I mean, it could come down to everybody being 0.1 seconds in between each other, and sure, that could make for good racing, but it could also be more stressful, like, because I mean, say you make one mistake and everybody's within a second of each other, like, now you're dropped 10 positions.
I think the racing would be competitive as hell if everybody was say 1 to 2 seconds off, right? It would be so much more fun to watch. However, the netcode in sim is 100 times better, right? So that makes a different factor for racing in general too, that you got to think about. For bikes, it's not that good, honestly. So like, even if we get the same dynos and everybody's a second off, you're going to see massive gaps just because you can't really get too close to people unless like they're going to die, right? And then like sim, you can get real close. You can block pass and nobody's going to go down. You can tap them and nobody's going to go down. This game, you tap someone, they go across the track almost, you know? I think that plays a factor. If the netcode is like better for bikes, the racing will be so much better. And even if you had the same dynos and the netcode updated, I think this game would go to the moon, you know? It would be like top tier MX game that would be probably ahead of sim, honestly. I think all the sim guys would be like, damn, this game's actually going places, you know? And maybe switch over.
First, they need to fix the physics, because I feel like that turns people away really fast, especially learning the game.
I think, like, in my, like, 700 hours that I have, from where I started to where I am now, yes, I went through a beta, but, like, the physics that I got used to compared to where they are now are a lot better. And I think that it just comes down to time. Because I feel like, yes, I mean, I still get weird kicks every once in a while, or I'll still get a weird Poboso bounce. You know, my front end will just tuck out of nowhere. But, like, the more I play, the more I understand how to save different things that happen. Like, for the longest time, I did not know how to stop the Poboso bounce. And a little while ago, I figured it out, and now I can just send shit 40 feet in the air and come down and ride away like nothing, you know? It just comes down to time and getting used to how the game plays. Like,
that goes back to just constant playing, you know, like you just
Yeah.
got to play until like you know everything about the game, and then that's when you like can hit a point where it's like, okay, I don't need to play as much, I know everything, and now the update
Yeah.
comes out and you're like, okay, I got to grind this game, you know.
Yeah.
I think that plays a huge
agree to an
factor.
extent, though. Like tracks like Millville and then the hill on Fox Raceway, hills
Yeah.
need to be fixed. I think like there's, especially with these tracks, if we want to get real into detail on them, and that could bring this game a lot farther. I think if these tracks were detailed, like, and you just can't do that with some of these hills.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of things that I think could be updated in the game, but I mean, it's one, maybe a couple guys doing it. I think it's just one Paboso, you know, working on it. So it's like, you can't expect too much about, like, if it was a department, like, all doing it, like, updating the game and stuff like that, yeah, we would be upset that it's not getting fixed, right? But it's just one person working on a game. So, I mean, can't be extremely upset, honestly, but it is sometimes disappointing that the physics don't get updated. But at the same time, I mean, you can't really do much about it. You can't complain too much about it. But I think, honestly, just, like, having a discussion about all of this is just important, just for the game in general. I mean, if we can have a full-blown discussion of what's going to be beneficial for the game going down the road, I mean, that's what we got to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I already know a few people that don't even want to play the game anymore. Like, they don't like the update. They don't like the bikes. They don't like where the direction's going, stuff like that. And then you got people that just don't like outdoors and they're going to sim. They're like, I know 2 Supercross pros that just went to sim. They're like, nah, I'm going to go do sim. Like, I think EVMove is racing pro in sim on the outdoor season. Like, and he was like literally 2nd place in Supercross this year. He just doesn't like outdoors. I think there's things got to be fixed for him to like want to enjoy the game again, you know? But I think there comes a time where everybody just falls out of love with stuff, you know? I mean, my boy Zug just doesn't enjoy the game anymore. I mean, I think I saw a Ryder stream today. I'm going to play this game until I enjoy it again. I mean, I think that gives you a point of like, oh, dang, like some of the top guys just don't enjoy the game anymore, you know?
It would definitely be good to like get a bunch of like the people together, and I mean, you obviously can't have the entire MX Bikes community get together. That would be.
I've seen a VC of everybody in there, dude. It is wild. You just can't do it.
That wouldn't be good.
I think if you can get like top pros and people like in the same circle as Paboso, I mean, in the same circles as like the series and stuff like that, it could benefit down the road. It won't probably be beneficial like right here and right now.
I mean, like,
but
if you get Paboso and Insane and the OEM devs and, you know, a lot of the top pros, and mainly like, even if you got like, say the top 15 pro riders in the 450 and the 250 class, and then the devs and Paboso and Insane together, and they could sit down for a good hour and a half and have like a full-blown discussion on what they think needs changed and what they believe would progress the game in a better way. I really feel like that would be beneficial, but I don't ever see that happening in the future.
Yeah, I don't see it ever happening either. It would be beneficial though. You got to be honest. It will be. It would be super cool to see, but I mean, that's even hard for AAA games. You see all the people complaining about AAA games, you know, but no, I think it's just, if we can have a discussion with people, I mean, that's the way to go. I mean, it's just going to be beneficial down the road, you know? So, but I love talking about this stuff. I mean, I love just talking about things that we do on a daily basis, you know what I'm saying? It's good to have a conversation about it. You guys will see this. You guys will probably see a majority of all of this conversation. It was included in a race. Now we're in practice. And it's just good conversation to have. And I would love to hear your guys' opinion on it. I mean, let me know in the comments below what you guys think about everything we talked about. Just let me know in the comments below if you guys agree with the same dynos and stuff like that. But let me know. Big shout out to the boys, Davey and Pipple, for doing this with me, man. I really do appreciate that. I love the conversation that we had. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this factory bike. If you guys have been enjoying it or not, let me know in the comments below. I think it's really good. So let me know what you guys think. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. And I appreciate you guys for real. And we'll catch you guys back here in the next video. I'm out. Peace.